In the heart of a tranquil village, nestled among rolling hills and whispering forests, there lived a young man named ZEN. He was known far and wide for his remarkable ability to offer guidance and wisdom to those who sought his counsel. ZEN had a deep understanding of the world around him and a rare gift for easing troubled souls. His presence was like a balm for those in need, and his name was whispered with reverence throughout the village. One bright morning, as the sun began its ascent in the sky, a troubled young woman named Grace arrived at the village. Grace had heard tales of ZEN's wisdom from a passing traveler and decided to seek his profound guidance. Her heart was heavy with the burdens of her past and the uncertainties of her future. She had endured hardships and faced trials that had left her feeling lost and weary. As Grace wandered through the picturesque streets of the village, she asked for directions to ZEN's dwelling. The villagers, who held great respect for ZEN, directed her to a modest cottage at the edge of the village. Grace approached the cottage and knocked gently on the weathered wooden door. Moments later, ZEN opened the door. He was a man of serene countenance, with kind, knowing eyes that seemed to look deep into one's soul. His voice was gentle and reassuring as he welcomed Grace into his home. She found herself immediately at ease in his presence, as if a soothing breeze had washed over her. Grace explained her troubles to ZEN, her voice trembling with emotion. She spoke of the challenges she had faced in her life, the disappointments, the loss of loved ones, and the fear of an uncertain future. ZEN listened attentively, his heart heavy with empathy for the young woman before him. "Grace," he said softly, "I am honored that you have sought my guidance. Life's journey can be treacherous, and sometimes it feels like we are wandering through the darkest of woods with no clear path ahead. But remember, even in the densest forest, there is always a way forward. Let us explore the tangled woods of your heart and mind together, and we shall find a path to the light." Over the following days, ZEN and Grace began their journey through the labyrinth of her emotions and past experiences. ZEN's guidance was patient and compassionate as he led her through the tangled undergrowth of her thoughts and feelings. He encouraged her to speak freely and without judgment, allowing her to untangle the knots that had bound her for so long. They sat together beneath the shade of ancient trees, where ZEN taught Grace the art of mindfulness and meditation. He showed her how to observe her thoughts without attachment, like leaves floating down a gentle stream. Through these practices, Grace slowly began to gain clarity and insight into her own mind. ZEN also shared stories from his own life, tales of his own trials and tribulations. He spoke of the moments of doubt, fear, and sorrow he had experienced, and how he had found his way through them. Grace was comforted by his openness, realizing that even the wisest souls had faced their own struggles. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Grace confided in ZEN about her deepest fear, that she would never find happiness or purpose in life. She felt as though a thick fog enveloped her, obscuring her view of any hopeful future. ZEN smiled gently and said, "Grace, the path to happiness and purpose is often elusive, but it is not unattainable. Happiness is not a destination. It is a state of being, a moment-to-moment choice we make. Purpose too is not something we find, but something we create." He guided her through an exercise, encouraging her to reflect on her passions, her dreams, and the moments in her life when she had felt most alive. As she shared her thoughts, her eyes sparkled with the joy of rediscovery. It was as if, through their conversations and reflections, she was reawakening to her own inner light. Days turned into weeks, and Grace's heart grew lighter. She realized that she carried the power to shape her own destiny and that her past did not have to define her future. With ZEN's guidance, she began to release the burden she had carried for so long and embraced a newfound sense of hope. One day, as they sat in the tranquil garden outside Zen's cottage, Grace expressed her gratitude. "Zen, you have shown me the way when I was lost, and you have given me the gift of hope when I had all but given up. How can I ever repay you?" Zen simply smiled and replied, "My dear Grace, there is no need for repayment. The wisdom I share with you is a gift, passed down through generations and freely offered to those who seek it. The true reward is in your transformation, in the joy that now shines in your eyes, and the hope that blossoms in your heart." As time went by, Grace continued her journey, embracing the wisdom and strength she'd gained under Zen's guidance. She decided to stay in the village, contributing to the community by teaching what she had learned, from Zen to others in need. Word of Zen and Grace's remarkable story spread throughout the village, and many came to seek Zen's counsel and Grace's lessons in resilience. The village became a place of healing and transformation, and the bond between Zen and Grace grew stronger with each passing day. Years passed, and Zen's time on this earth neared its end. Grace, now a beacon of hope and wisdom herself, sat by Zen's side during his final moments. His eyes, though aged, still held that same depth and serenity that had drawn Grace to him. "Grace," Zen whispered, "life is an ever-flowing river, and I am but a pebble in its stream. My time in this world draws to a close, but the wisdom and compassion you have cultivated will continue to ripple through the lives of those you touch." Tears welled up in Grace's eyes as she held Zen's frail hand. "I will carry your teachings, your kindness, and your love with me always, Zen. You have not only illuminated my path, but the paths of countless others. Your legacy will endure." Zen's final breath was a peaceful one, and the world lost a sage, but Grace and all those who had been touched by his wisdom carried his light forward. The tranquil village remained a place of solace and hope, where those in need could find the guidance and compassion they sought. In the end, Zen's legacy was not in grand monuments or written words, but in the countless lives he had touched and the seeds of wisdom he had sown in the hearts of others. Grace continued to share his teachings, and in doing so, she honored the memory of the man who had shown her the way through the trials of life and helped her find the enduring light of hope.